Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda, and welcome to our channel. The entire job market is changing. The nature of unemployment benefits is expected to change. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about the great resignation, as 55% of Americans, yes, you heard that right, 55% of Americans are planning to look for a new job because they want more flexibility. Here's a brand new article, and you'll see this headline on your screen from CNBC. And as always, we'll provide you with the link to all of our resources in the description section below. This shouldn't be a surprise. Most of us are looking for a new job as the pandemic continues. In fact, 55% of the American workforce is currently looking for employment and are thinking of switching their job in the next 12 months, according to a survey from Bankrate, which is the August Job Seekers Survey that was actually published on Monday. Here's a headline of an article on your screen from Bankrate. Survey shows 55% of Americans are expected to search for a new job over the next 12 months. Just think about this for a second. 55% want to look for a new job. So what are the key takeaways from this article? More than half, that is 55% of Americans in the workforce, say they are either somewhat or very likely to look for a new job in the next year. This is pretty incredible if you actually think about this. 55%. The second takeaway, Americans are prioritizing flexible work arrangements. That's 56% of them. They want higher pay. That's 53% of them. And job security, 47%, in their careers in the wake of the pandemic. More than 2/5, that's 41% of Americans in the labor market expect to work remotely at least one day a week over the next year, at least one day a week. And this is the big one. More than 1 in 5 of American adults lost income or became unemployed during the pandemic. This is the great American work search. Let's show you this graph on your screen from Bankrate. And the source is the Bankrate Job Seeker Survey at the end of July of this year. More than half of Americans plan to look for a new job. When people were asked, how likely are you to search for a new job in the next 12 months? 35% said very likely. 20% said somewhat likely. 20% not too likely, and 26% not at all likely. But when we add up the very likely and the somewhat likely, you're looking at a whopping 55%. More than half of Americans say that they're looking for a new job. And what's even more interesting is they were predominantly younger Americans, lower wage earners, and minorities, who also happen to be the individuals impacted most as a direct result of the pandemic. In fact, nearly twice as many Gen Z workers, basically those aged between the age groups of 18 and 24, and millennials aged between 25 and 40, nearly twice as many Gen Z and millennial workers than baby boomers said they plan to look for a new position at some point over the next 12 months. 77% and 63% versus 33%. In other words, 77% of Gen Z, those aged between 18 and 24, and 63% of millennials aged between 25 and 40 said they were looking for a new job in the next 12 months, relative to 33% of baby boomers. And at the same time, more than 2 in every 5, which is 45% of Gen Z individuals, said that they were going to look for new employment. About 72% of those who earn under $30,000 per year were looking for a new job, compared with 44% of those who make $80,000 or more. Nearly 7 in 10 African American and Hispanic Americans, that's 67%, plan to look for a new job, compared with 47% of white individuals. Now, more and more people actually quitting their jobs in what is considered a very unusual and an unprecedented situations. And this suggests that more and more of the workforce is exceedingly becoming more and more confident about their career prospects following the worst unemployment crisis we've ever seen in the history of our country. Here's a quote from Mark Hamrick, who's the Bankrate Senior Economic Analyst and Washington Bureau Chief. Pandemic-inspired changes, including the ability to work remotely and or from home, have transformed mindsets and expectations for many workers. Despite this, folks, 46% of those surveyed said they are not expecting to search for a new job in the next year, This includes 20% who said that they were not likely and another 26% who said they were not at all likely. Now, this tends to be the type of individual who's already employed, who's already happy with their job, and nearly 72% of that group said that they were not likely to look for a new position. So, what is actually happening? Let's take a look at this graph on your screen, also from Bankrate. Job seekers are looking for work flexibility and higher pay. What exactly are they looking for? Well, folks, more and more Americans are valuing workplace flexibility in the middle of the pandemic. When people were asked, thinking of your jobs and your employment moving forward, which, if any, of the following are important to you in the wake of the pandemic? Flexibility was at 56%. People want work flexibility. They want to be able to just take a day off or take a break and go pick up their kids or do whatever. People want higher pay. That's an easy one. That's completely understandable. People want job security. That is also understandable. 47%. 35% want more time off. 24% want better work culture. And 13% said none of these. That's pretty interesting. But the 56% of individuals who want flexibility, that really, I think, is the game changer following the pandemic. Think about this. If I said to you a couple of years ago that 55% of Americans would want to change their jobs in the next 12 months and want more flexibility, you would have said, you're nuts. And guess what? I would have said I was nuts too. But what has happened after the pandemic is that more and more people want more flexibility and more people want to work remotely. In fact, here's another graph on your screen. Now, Americans have an expectation of working remotely. When people were asked, do you expect to work remotely or from home, at least part-time in the next 12 months? This is interesting. 19% said full-time. 13% said yes, 3 to 4 days a week. 9% said 1 to 2 days a week. 4% said less than 1 day a week. And 24% said not at all. And 22% said don't have the capability to do that. Presumably individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment and hospitality, and they don't have the ability to be able to work from home. And this is even more interesting. Americans experienced significant financial events and hardship during the pandemic. Let's take a look at this image on your screen. During the pandemic, nearly 1 in 5 Americans lost a job or income. When people were asked, did you experience any of the following since the pandemic began? And this is astonishing. 21% experienced unemployment or lost income. 15% received unemployment benefits. 12% actually saw their unemployment increase, and 11% took a new job. 6% started working remotely for an extended period of time away from home, presumably in a separate location, and 4% left the workforce for caretaking. In fact, there's been a reduction in the labor force participation rate. What is the bottom line as far as all this is concerned? If you're looking for a new job during the pandemic, you need to leverage your network and make new connections according to Bankrate. You need to increase your skill sets. I've been talking about this for a long time. Watch other channels on YouTube to enhance your skill set. Find a mentor. Essentially, read more books. Try and enhance your skill set. And always, as always, be persistent and continue to apply for new positions, potentially even starting your own business. I encourage you to please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. I was able to overcome the cycle of poverty that you see on your screen right now, and I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream, and I will help you live your American dream. Give me the opportunity to do that. Please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye. I'll talk to you soon.